For this week's video, I wanted to mix it up a bit. Operation Summer is right around the corner, and I was talking with some of my friends about what vehicles that we'd like to see added to War Thunder as event vehicles. So here are 4 tanks that I'd like to see added to War Thunder in no particular order, except for this first one, because I could actually see this coming to War Thunder soon. I'm talking about the Bradley Linebacker. I could see the Linebacker coming to the game at any point because it just combines 2 things that we already have in game. You take the Bradley, remove the toes, and replace it with the Stinger launcher that you see on the Leopard. I don't even think anybody would call it overpowered. While the Linebacker is just a footnote for most people, 100 Bradleys were converted to linebackers in the late 90s and they served until the mid-2000s. By 2006, all linebackers were converted back into standard Bradleys. I don't really have a segue to this next entry on the list, so here's a picture of a Leopard 2A4 with a 140mm cannon. This monstrosity came about because of a collaborative test between Switzerland and RUAG. Not much is known about the tank, and many people online incorrectly attribute it to the German KWS upgrade program also for the Leopard 2. From what I've been able to piece together looking around online, this prototype was made in the late 80s because at the time Switzerland was concerned about the effectiveness of Soviet armor. It's said that during tests this 140mm cannon was able to punch through a 1 meter thick armored plate using a projectile that wasn't depleted uranium. Using 1 meter penetration as a conservative estimate, that would still give this cannon and that unknown projectile roughly 40% more penetration than the best darts that are currently in War Thunder. You might think that this would be a little too overpowered to add to War Thunder, but the big downside of this prototype is that the gun was manually loaded, and I don't think that manually loading a 140mm cannon would be a quick process. Continuing the trend of comically large cannons, the next tank on this list is the Italian Porcupine self-propelled howitzer. This is what happens when you stick a 155mm howitzer on top of a Centauro. This is designed to be a long-range howitzer capable of firing at targets up to 37 miles away, so I don't know how well it would do in War Thunder, but it can fire 8 rounds a minute and it has 5 degrees of gun depression, so this could be the ultimate derp gun. The Porcupine is still going through testing, so give it a few years and it may be coming to an Italian army near you. Next up, let's flip the script and go from comically large guns to comically small tanks. This tank is even a 3-for-1. If you've played World of Tanks, you may know a bit about this entry on the list. I'm talking about the ELC EVEN. The ELC EVEN might be the only tank smaller than a car, coming in at 17 feet long, 7 feet wide, and 5 feet tall. To put that in perspective, that's about the same size as your average American sedan. The ELC EVEN comes in 3 variants. The first is probably the most well-known since it's in World of Tanks. This one comes with a low-pressure 90mm cannon. We don't know anything about the effectiveness of this 90mm cannon, but we do know that it had a 5-round autoloader and somehow the crew was able to store another 25 rounds in the hull. The second version came with a pair of HS-825 30mm cannons. You might know these better as the cannons found on the Italian Sagittario II, so we know that they could get up to 92mm of pen. Then finally, there's a third, almost hidden version of the ELC EVEN. This one features 4 120mm recoilless rifles for weapons. I found no information about this version online outside of this one picture of it stuck in a ditch. I know that the chances are low that any of the tanks I've talked about in this video would come to War Thunder, but I always enjoy it when Gaijin goes out and finds some weird prototype to bring into the game. If you want to see the list of some aircraft that I think Gaijin should add as event vehicles, then give this video a like. Operation Summer is right around the corner, so follow to not miss out on any of the news for the event. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your day.